This part is very clear. You're nothing but a pawn, and you'll remain a pawn until you play. The rules are clear. Take what they give you, give away what you have to, and the difference is yours. The question is, how big is the difference?
Are you really intending to win?
Well, why not? There are lots like me, and we're the actual players. Because on one side of us are the real cattle who let TV do the thinking for them, while on the other is power who believe that we are shit and feeble-minded cattle. Over in the barn, they want us to take care of them. But a long time ago, they gave up on themselves, and now they won't lift a single finger. While those who have real power became more than the rest. Became gods. They sit so high up that they can't see us as either a serious enemy or a trusted friend. They have only one problem, that they're not immortal. That just leaves you and me. Sometimes I benefit you, other times you me. Everyone plays a game of their own.
Think you're a player, do you?
I play like the great ones. Take the authorities. Quite unceremonious, but they do have a few lively plays up their sleeves for the people. Every couple of months, they let them blow off steam. Elections, Black Friday, a new auto plant, the latest installment of Star Wars, the Super Bowl. And the people just gobble it up. But when people have holes in their pockets and nothing to eat, who's responsible for that? So now, without their beer and football, they need a sacrifice. And you can be certain that power will provide them with a patsy. And it'll be us. Understand? So that is the game. Here are people who don't care about themselves, and here's authority that doesn't care about them either. And here we are in the middle, who sort of owe something, but what and to whom? It's not clear.
How pure and simple. You're more naive than you look. But you're right in that we are like butter that is spread between a thin layer of caviar and moldy bread, which reminds me of a fairy tale. Once there lived a poor wolf, and nearby lived a very powerful and rich fox. They grow up together, were in the same class at school, but now they're in different social classes. The fox's life was like a fairy tale. One day the wolf came to him and said, "Teach me to do it. I'm tired of my life and I want to play with the big boys. I want to live like you. Tell me what to do." The fox answered, "Don't sweat it. I'll fix up a place for you. You'll have a cushy job. You'll sit in a chair, quietly catch fish. By the rules. Don't fuss. Take a lot here, a little there. Anything will do." So the wolf nervously looked around and saw that everyone was doing the same thing. And soon it was all working. He caught big fish and little ones. One day the fox came to get his share of fish, but the wolf said to him, "Sorry, brother, this fish is stuck to my tail." So the fox went and unstuck it. He cut the wolf's tail off and unstuck the fish. Good thing the wolf wasn't using his for bait. That's what happens when you play by someone else's rules.
Why are you telling me your tale's here? If you're so smart, then maybe you know a way out.
The way out, my colleague, is through the entrance. It's time to get out of this game. Look, yeah, we have money, and what good does it do? There is nothing for us to do in this country. The number of alcoholics and morons is larger than the whole population. It's all polluted, education doesn't exist, and that new auto plant? It's not real. There's no other way than to leave and wipe this nightmare from our brains.
To leave? And who's going to let you do this? You'll never forget this nightmare because it won't ever let you wake up. We do have money, but whose money is it? Is it yours, really? Can you actually spend it or offshore it? Can you legalize it? Give it to your children? Don't lie to yourself. Don't be like the others. You're in a trap, and the trap will only open its jaws once you are good and deceased. We can buy our way out of a criminal suit, maybe a nice mansion, a few cars, expensive tutors for the kids, but that's about it. See, you're like a hamster on a wheel, no freedom to be seen while the system rolls right on. Why don't I tell you a fairy tale, my special friend? Once there lived a smart guy like you. He found a job, settled in, and slowly rolled along with his life. Then he looked around and rolled a bit faster. He was allocated a budget and he administered it wisely, and by the rules, he got his cut. You know what I mean? Why would you ever build a fence for $1 million when it can be done for so much more? So he rolled on like this. The books looked good. Sometimes they didn't quite balance, but mostly it was a well-oiled machine. He'd give a taste to get off in court, give a taste to avoid an audit, he'd give a taste to whomever caught him and get away. But came the day he decided, enough. I've made enough for myself and my kids. No more risk. Everything can change. I'm leaving the game. Quietly. I need to move my money out and leave. I got away from Grandma. I got away from Grandpa. I got away from the traffic cop, the prosecutor, and the tax police. And I can get away from you, Mr. Fox.
And what?
What? Just letting him go would have been a total loss for the fox. Nobody leaves. The fox hates feisty people. To those who want to leave, he gives a very tough time. Bounces them from the tax police to the DA to court, bleeds them dry, and tosses them in jail. You asked for it, Gingerbread man. Why are you silent? Hello? Are you even here?
Leave him alone. He looks like He's asleep. What can I say? You seem to be making some good points, so I didn't chime in. So what do you want? To win or not to lose?
Not to lose.
It doesn't matter. How is it possible to win or lose in a game where the rules are constantly changing but are never changed by you? I want to tell you a story too. There once was a turnip that grew very, very big. They started tugging it in different directions but just couldn't pull it out. The turnip creaks but it won't come out. Then one smartass said, why don't we just grab the turnip together and pull it in the same direction? They grabbed it, pulled really hard, and pulled out the turnip. It shined gloriously like the sun, so beautiful, so smooth. When the turnip was just sitting there, no one got anything at all. But after it was pulled, everyone had enough. There is one way alone for us to agree amongst ourselves, to finally write some rules ourselves. And that's when it will start. Our game.
Hey, do you like prostitutes, friend? I totally love them. After all, it's the oldest profession on earth. Hookers have a lot in common with politicians, journalists, and actors, all of whom can either be artists or poseurs, turning cheap, dirty tricks or answering a true calling. It's easy to say that women who, voluntarily or not, got into this craziness are weak, stupid, and spineless sluts. But are they not just satisfying demand? We all know that without them, some would go bonkers from loneliness, fear, frustration, and all kinds of complexes. I say, without a smidgen of irony, most of these women who, by whatever twist of fate, became professional satisfiers of pathetic male fantasies are far more decent and fair than their despicable clientele. I totally get guys who say sex with hookers is the purest, most honest kind of sex anyone can ever have, while a free-of-charge quickie can cost so much more, leaving behind such a residue of shame and cynicism for all involved that no matter how hard you try to, you can never wash it off. And so I ask you, is there anything new that can be said about this storied topic of old? Not a goddamn thing. We can only shrug our shoulders. Or as we walk along the streets watching 13 and 14-year-old girls hop into random cars, we can be dumbfounded again and again from the sheer inconceivability of this scene. Or am I wrong? Oh, and what's this monument? It's to an unknown, it says it's for an unknown hooker. What the? Well, why the hell not? For the boys who go missing in action in senseless wars, they build entire parks as memorials. Isn't this also a battlefield? Isn't the world of prostitution one big slaughterhouse? Of course it's naive to think that fantasies about Prince Charming will soon stop turning the heads of girls dreaming of rom-com lives, where a handsome man in a fancy car sweeps them off their feet and puts a ring right on their finger. Let the prudes grind their perfect teeth to dust right now, 'cause baby, this bronze beauty is gonna stand somewhere along Fifth Avenue or the Champs-Élysées, some glorious main street of our cities.
I command it.
A giant woman in a provocatively short dress, rain or shine, an eyesore eternally waving horny men down, forcing every passerby to engage their brains and decide for themselves, what do they think of it? And what's this monument? It's in honor of the noble hooker, an actual prostitute monument. What for? What for? Because they're good looking, of course. Hi there. There are a lot of you. What are you munching on over there? Ah, I thought it was potted meat for sure. All right then.
Take a little break from your meal.
And let's play make-believe. Imagine that you're a rich manufacturer, transporting spices and brocade fabric by ship. Long voyage, comfy cabin, vast sea. Beautiful. But one fine day, rats under the deck start crapping in your spices and gnawing on your precious fabric. What are you gonna do to get rid of these wretched pests? Simple. You put 5 rats in one barrel, lock them in there together for a couple of weeks until the only thing left in the barrel is one single rat who gobbled up his brothers when he got hungry. Now we have a what? Right, we have a cannibal. Somebody that out of all possible meals prefers what? Right, the meat of his own species. Now you release him in the hold and... True genius is so simple. Hamsters, wolves, and some cats eat their newborns, and for them, this behavior is completely normal. Adorable little lemmings falling to their deaths when there isn't enough food to go around is also normal, right? To say nothing of the fact that meat from one of your own species digests far better than any other food, thanks to the similarities in protein and salt compositions of the victim and the eater. By the way, cannibalism as a cultural phenomenon has never disappeared from our little planet. We're all aware of its religious and sexual forms, but it's a rather exotic topic for curious people and field experts. Yet we, the genuine humanists, dismiss their absurd narrow-mindedness and fickle moral qualms because we are much more focused on the economic dimension. You better listen up.
The biggest problem faced by humankind is not global warming, but overpopulation and famine. In the last 50 years, the total number of people who were born and died equals the births and deaths in all the rest of human history.
In other words, we're getting a bit too many.
You get what I mean? The terrible day is coming when all wimps are going to learn we are our own food. In underdeveloped societies, the cannibalism will happen randomly on the principle of who can I catch. Pretty much the same as how they mate. But for civilized societies, it should and certainly will be a more industrial process. Just imagine farms, spacious and well-lit, where in comfortable stalls utilizing the latest technology they breed select two-legged livestock. You know, the animals who permit themselves to become food end up as the winners in the mortal interspecies battle for control over the planet. Did you know that? How many tigers on Earth? Not very many. Lions? How about bears? Very few. But now riddle me this. How many cows live on Earth? There are billions of them. Understand? Now listen up. Has it ever occurred to you to wonder who might have already started the process of turning us into livestock? Physiological and sociological conditioning is already happening. Just look at this. Cultivation of stem cells is 1. Use of serum from abortive material in medicine, 2nd. Popular movies about the living dead devouring human flesh, 3. Laws about euthanasia, 4. Shawarma or gyros made from who knows what sold on every corner, 5. Do you even know what that stuff is? There's no need to be scared of this bright future. No crisis will menace us ever again. The vegans and the tree huggers will be downright giddy. Nobody will harm their beloved animals anymore. Although, maybe those vegans and greenies will go into the very first batch of universal protein ration. Huh? Give it a think.
My wonderful friends, fine citizens from free democratic countries everywhere. I, the greatest and best-known long-lived viral advertisement of them all. I would like to wish all of you an extremely joyous new year. What do you keep looking at? Oh, message. This past year was as big as it could be, very eventful, full of all the things, happiness and misery, things found and things lost. Everyone did their own stuff, got something, gave away something. Somebody lost a wallet, somebody found it. Somebody got robbed, while somebody made a fortune. Some people tallied up votes, others pumped oil. All of these small, controversial, heroic deeds make up the life of a great country, our beloved homeland. Its heartbeat consists of the actions of each and every one of us, and I know in the future we'll withstand every test the world wants to throw at us, yet again proving our right for a special place in history. In fact, we've all been working on it pretty hard already. Some too hard, really. You guys are shouting so darn much that you've completely stopped using your heads at all. I say the words jerk off, and you think the only thing I'm talking about is jerking off. I talk about prostitution, and you think the only thing I'm referring to is actual hookers. I talk about eating one another, and all you see is cannibalism. Are you really that stupid? Are you really that stupid? Are you really that stupid? But the state got exactly what I meant, because it listened and was frightened. And then certain governmental organizations dropped some very strong hints as to where my place was. Well, my dear friends, thanks for shouting. I'm not sure if I shall have the pleasure of seeing you in the new year, but I do want to appeal to every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. Go deeper than just thinking about it. Make a sincere and conscious decision. Are you ready to journey with me further? And so, happy 2000 whatever, my friends.
Yeah, I know. The most offensive crime is to call on people to stand up and express their independence and freedom. It's a road that leads straight to chaos and mutual obliteration. I just knew not what I was doing. But I understand now. But if you just give me the chance, I'll explain it to all of them. Hey, you! Do you really think my true mission was to awaken your noble and precious so-called independence? Are you totally stupid? The masses' destiny is to be obedient and harbor illusions and fears. If you mishandle freedom, my friends, then it will tear you to bits. Fear freedom! Be afraid!
Well, did I say everything right? Huh?
Now, here's what I really think about all of this stuff. The truth is that life has one small but vital element. Eventually, children grow up. They get a bit bigger, a bit freer, a bit more educated than their fathers, understand? They're no longer willing to stand in endless lines, run get you another beer, or carry away your garbage.
The children want something more than that.
But Daddy replies that he's not interested in hearing the opinion of a spoiled little freedom-loving snot. Oh no! He wants you to be an A sheep, A face in the crowd, and not the individual you are. The idea is simple. The system controls you as long as you are all the same. But if everyone starts thinking outside the box, the system won't have enough rules or methods or hands to spank each and every one. You are torn between the romanticism of stubborn opposition and the desire to adapt and conform and survive. That's when you get a sock in the jaw. You're just a speck. Get to the back of the line. But pay attention. The most subtle and the highest revolt is merely the ability, in any situation, to always remain true to yourself and proudly carry your identity like a flag. This has nothing to do with a sense of self-importance. One can be small while remaining big. I forgot whose quote that was. Yes, exactly. It's from simple to complicated. As a first step, write I, me, myself, and mine everywhere you possibly can with big uppercase letters. In documents, emails, blogs, and articles everywhere. It's so easy, but soon you will discover how difficult it is because it will start raising questions. But for all the rest of you, I repeat, be afraid of freedom. It's capable of... I hear this everywhere I go. Freeman, what should we do?
Give us a sign.
Start a revolution.
We will follow you.
The answers to all of these questions you already know, but you get a kick out of playing the part of wide-eyed innocent little girls. All right. I shall extract the answer from the depth of your tiny and hopeless craniums, and he who has ears to hear, let him see. Now close your eyes, and don't open them until I tell you to. Close them.
I told you to close your damn eyes!
Uh-huh. I see we came to an agreement, and rightly so. No point in staring at the screen. Today, the most important thing will happen somewhere else. So let's begin. Imagine yourself sitting on top of a beautiful hill, surrounded by fragrant herbs, flowers, trees. Your breathing is smooth and even. 1, 2, 3. You're sinking into deep meditation, into the cosmos of your infinite consciousness. Everything that worried you now dissolves, and you slowly drift to where even time disappears into the eternal now. And now you're coming back to your normal state. Take a look at your hands, your legs. What's going on? Why, your physical body has decomposed completely. You have become a skeleton! And with the first ray of the sun, you crumble to dust. And what's left is only pure consciousness. Absolute, utter freedom! No more envy for your neighbors, no senseless spite, old grievances, greed, fear, all that foul-smelling dead weight that dragged you into the world's filth, waiting to ambush you in the fetid basements of life. At long last, the path is open wide, and it makes you feel like exulting and embracing the whole world with pure love. All right, now open your eyes and take a long look at what we've done here. Watch carefully now. It seems like nothing has changed, right? Well, did you hear? The gathering storm bangs a tom-tom of thunder and etches a new reality with bolts of lightning. And soon even a child will be able to find 10 fundamental new distinctions here. Are you able to recognize the new? Take a closer look. You'll see that the road gets cut by the footsteps of a walker. I'd like to play a little game with you. For one measly minute or so, let's forget your precious IQ and enter the dark realm of imagination. Look closer. Imagine there was some shift in the old space-time continuum that sent you thousands of years into the past. But you have a flash drive bursting with gigabytes of wonders of the modern world. Music, books, pictures, videos. You aren't just some little prick any longer, but the pinnacle of smarts. The top of the big pyramid of civilization. They're all dying to pay you incredible treasures in exchange for all this knowledge. World leaders from every nation. You're a demigod like genuine phenomenon. You are the path to true enlightenment, dude. Well, everybody's gathered together, excited and waiting, ready to pay heed to your knowledge, to learn from you and so forth. Thousands of eyes are staring. The entire world has stopped to hear what you'll say, expecting miracles and light. Now pay attention. How do you get the data off of the flash drive? Because you don't really know anything. The only proof you have that you're from the future is this little hunk of plastic and metal. You've got nothing to tell the mob. And without proof, anything you say to them is going to sound like... And at best, this is where you'll end up. So yeah, my precious smarty pants, without all your usual technical support, you're nothing but a useless little dumb two-legged farter. But then, of course, setting up a free email box, turning in a ready-made essay, voting via text message, or installing a plugin are each and every one crucial, necessary, brilliant skills. But they're not gonna do one damn thing to save your neck! Right. Now let's think about things on a global scale. Any of you know the gunpowder formula? Can you make penicillin? Do you know how to take crude oil and turn it into gasoline? Is there anything at all you could give these poor dumb schmoes from the past, huh? Come on, think. Use your brains, darling parasites. For example, to generate electricity, all you need is an orange or a potato. It would be enough to stick a small golden cross along with a silver spoon into it for these two contacts to produce 2 volts. Did you know that? I'm well aware that my words will not convince you, which is why I'm prepared to show you something that is significantly more substantial. I happen to bring along with me a nano-quantum crystallic hyperhydropneumatic information core with thousands of petabytes of information. Voila. And now, this amazing device will transport every or not. Does anybody have an intrasystemic figurative synthesis compiler? Yes, you're right. I'm quite confident you are the one who got the message. Then why am I looking at you like you're a piece of shit? But do you ever look at people any other way? Just relax, Groovy Brothers. I understand each one of you. He wanted to be a musician, but instead cultivates blisters on his butt from his office chair. She dreamt of being an actress, but all she learned is to fake orgasm, performing all her greatest dramatic roles in the kitchen. So, what do we get? 1/3 of life goes to sleeping, another third to eat, shit, laugh, and the remaining third to hating the beloved job. Yet you could have been doing something real. Do you get that? But where did your precious dream go? But don't fret, my dears. You see, we're all like that. Separately, each of us is a personality with a capital P.
But once there are 2 of us, one
Has to be the piece of shit.
Each one scrutinizes the other, avidly searching for personality flaws. Look at him, he still lives with his parents. She got knocked up and now he's gotta marry her. Look at the ancient wheels this doofus drives. Can you even believe it?
I just got no boobs and she's growing a mustache.
This unbridled hatred and scorn that you feel for each other, this mutual venom, is the only thing that makes you into a unified whole at all. I'm a good man surrounded by bad men. I am honest surrounded by crooks. A genius in a land of fools. I'm D'Artagnan and the rest of you suck! But if everyone smells like shit to you, maybe it's because you crapped yourself. Yet you wonder, why is it that I always seem to be getting fucked in my civic hole? By the government, by moves from the idiot box, by all the ass lickers. Well, how else can you treat a herd where everyone thinks of each other as a bunch of moronic idiots? How hard do you need to be pummeled and prodded until you finally see yourselves in others? And instead of saying me and them, you finally say we. Did they not explain this to you on the evening news on Primetime Network TV? Of course not. They told you to be unique and nurture and foster your otherness. Am I right? Well, keep it up. Be original. Become the champion of ass sores at your office. Or get an Oscar for best faked orgasm. Cheat your business partners out of their money. Tear at each other's throats, arguing about who understood Freeman better. So, tell me, did your big fancy collective consciousness actually get the message? Or do you still feel sure you yourself are the chosen one?